You're listening to 15 Minutes, where we feature community leaders sharing what the rest of us should know but likely don't. Hi, Chad Franzen here. I'm one of the hosts of 15 Minutes, where we talk with top-notch law firms and lawyers about what it takes to grow a successful law practice. This episode is brought to you by Gladiator Law Marketing, delivering tailor-made services to help you accomplish your objectives and maximize your growth potential. To have a successful marketing campaign and make sure you're getting the best ROI, your firm needs to have a better website and better content. Gladiator Law Marketing uses artificial intelligence, machine learning, and decades of experience to outperform the competition. To learn more, go to gladiatorlawmarketing.com and schedule a free marketing consultation. Attorney James Grant is a premier personal injury lawyer representing injured victims throughout Georgia. He and his law firm, Georgia Trial Attorneys, help other personal injury lawyers make more money with less stress and in less time. They are litigators who are well respected by their clients and peers, yet feared by greedy auto insurance companies. Hey, James, thanks so much for joining me today. How are you?
Hey, thanks, Chad. I'm super stoked to be here. Really excited and looking forward to it.
Yeah, great. Good to talk to you. Hey, tell me a little bit more about Georgia Trial Attorneys and what you guys do for other personal injury lawyers.
Yeah, so it's kind of taken a little bit of a turn through the years, but we found that there's kind of a niche that not a lot of people are in, and the few people that are in it aren't really willing to go all in like we are. So I'll kind of give you the 50,000 foot flyer view of how we got here to today and kind of what we're looking at going forward. But when we started, we realized early on when we started the business that, and when I say we, I mean my business partner, Mark, when we started the firm, we're like, you have to be an expert in something. You can't just dabble in everything. You can't do, 17 different practice areas and do all of that well. So we're like, we really enjoy personal injury. We're good at it. We get very good results. There's just a lot of benefits that we can provide to the community, to others. I like the whole David Goliath analogy of taking on the greedy insurance companies. I mean, it was just a wonderful fit for us and that one practice area where we could just, go all in on it. So that's what we did. And we got our start litigating for other law firms. So other law firms would send their cases to us. They're difficult cases. They're cases that they weren't or equipped to handle, and we would litigate those cases for them. And that has been very much a large part of our business. However, we were also doing the pre-litigation marketing at the same time. And so many of the others that do what we do or what we do, they would use the litigation referral business as more of a crutch to then generate their own pre-litigation cases. And I mean, that's at the end of the day, most personal injury attorneys want to be in that pre-litigation phase where, they're focusing on the marketing. So they're, hustle, market, sell. They're going to get the client signed up. They're going to get them into treatment, get them better, send a demand letter, negotiate their case, and then get a good result for the client and move on. That's the general model where a lot of high margin business is in personal injury. The litigation component isn't necessarily a high margin business. So a lot of people use the litigation to subsidize. We wanted to flip it and say, you know what? If we're going to do business with other law firms, and if we're going to help other attorneys make more money in less time and with less stress, then we don't need to be double dipping, so to speak. I don't need to be talking out both sides of my mouth saying, hey, let me help you and work on your litigation cases while also driving up their cost of acquisition on the pre-litigation cases. So what we decided is, our unique value proposition is that we're all in on litigation. That's the only thing we want. That's the only thing we care about. And that's the only thing we're going to serve. So that way, when I go and I network and I meet and I'm pitching another law firm to help them grow, I can also tell them with confidence, I'm not driving up your cost of acquisition. I'm not going after your clients. I only want to work with other law firms and other businesses like you so that we together can help each other grow and get better results. And that's kind of how the model was born and how we've been just mashing the gas.
Yeah, wow. So it's a pretty unique business model.
It's unique in the fact that there are a lot of people that litigate and want to litigate cases for other law firms, but I don't know of anyone else that has said, we want to go all in and that's the only thing we want to do. So I think in that aspect, we are very unique.
So when auto insurance companies hear Georgia Trial Attorneys, what goes through their minds?
I mean, they know we mean business. There's a lot of firms that are out there, and we work with a lot of them where the insurance companies know that it doesn't matter what they tell them because it's not going to stay with them, or they know that they're not going to put up a fight. So, when it gets to us, they're like, all right, fine. One of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to immediately put more money, or we're still going to get more money later on because we know how to work the game and we know the process a lot better. I mean, and also from, a business perspective, when you look at it, managing a pre-litigation department is so much easier than managing a litigation department. If you have a successful personal injury law firm, you effectively have to run two entirely different business models because the staff, the processes, everything that goes into each firm is so vastly different. So my pitch is just, we've perfected our method and our process and our procedure and our oversight and our training and our retraining. Just let us help you so that you can take more money, throw it into marketing, throw it into sales, and grow your pre-lit department and grow your firm even faster, and let us worry about your litigation.
So tell me about how you guys kind of got started with Georgia Trial Attorneys. How did it come about?
Oh man, that is, looking back, it's nuts how we actually even got off the ground floor. But about 14 months before we started Georgia Trial Attorneys, my business partner and I, Mark, we met at a small law firm that did what I call door law, meaning, if you walk through the door and you had a case, they were going to take it. And probably not the best business model to operate under, but we got a ton of experience. I mean, we were just thrown into every type of case that's out there. So we got a lot of experience, and we very quickly realized that, there's a better way to do this. We can actually run a business that happens to practice law. And so we just need to, figure out how we're going to do that and put our spin on it. We now have a business coach. We now subscribe very much to coaching and personal and professional development. Back then, we didn't even know what those words are, much less how to spell them. So when we started, I mean, we had no plan, we had no clients, we had no referral sources. I mean, I tell a lot of people we were just two dudes hanging out in Mark's basement. I mean, it was literally just like the boys club. And I don't know how we did it, but we got cases, we got clients, we were successful and profitable our first year, and then we were just able to grow year after year from there.
So you said you don't know how you did it. How did you go from hanging out in the basement playing poker or whatever you guys did to being a fully functioning firm like you are now?
Some of it, I mean, obviously there is very much, hard work, determination, sheer will. Neither of us were married at the time. Like we had, this was what we devoted our time to, and we were able to put a lot of effort in and lay the groundwork so that, we could get to the point where we're now more working on the business, not necessarily in the business, because I think that helps the business grow more when leaders are actually working on the business and have the foresight, as opposed to down in the trenches where you can't necessarily see the forest for the trees. So when we started, I mean, it was the big three of kind of, I said it before: hustle, market, sell. That's your first year or two. That's all you need to worry about as a business owner, because without clients, without cases, you're not going to be able to generate revenue. You're not going to be able to help other people and help more people. So you've got to be able to have a marketing and sales system in place right away, or you're just dead in the water from the get-go. So, I mean, luckily we were able to start and build that quickly and then move into the other areas of, building a business.
Sure. Was it, I'm guessing it wasn't your idea to, like when you first started, to start trying to work with other personal injury lawyers, or was it?
No, I mean, well, it was a little bit. We had some relationships with other law firms. We maintained those throughout our transition from our current or our prior firm to our firm, and then also it's just more of networking with other law firms and doing a lot of that pre-litigation marketing, because again, we were marketing to anybody and everybody that was in an accident. Didn't matter what the circumstances were, because we just wanted to help people, but also we wanted to help people so we could also pay our bills too. So it was a combination of both.
What would you say have been some of the biggest turning points?
October of 2018 was the most defining moment in our professional development as business owners. That was the month that we hired a business coach. And it is something that I recommend to every entrepreneur, every business owner that's out there, especially in the legal field. I mean, in the legal field, we are done a disservice so much throughout law school and honestly through a lot of what we receive from the state bars. In law school, we don't learn anything about business. Most of the problems that the state bars face, I would say a vast majority of them are attributed to bad business practices. So many of them are dealing with trust accounts and theft and failure to reconcile and all of these things where if you just put simple business principles and teach those and impart those to either up and coming lawyers or re-impart them and retrain them on lawyers that are barred currently, you're going to just save yourself a lot of trouble. And really, when you think about it, most attorneys at some point in their career are either going to be very high up in the decision-making process of a law firm, or they're going to own their law firm or be a partner in a law firm. And with that, in order to run successful business, you need to have some business backing, some business acumen, some level of understanding of what entrepreneurship is and how you run a business. And once we did that, I mean, that catapulted us in October of 2018 to where we are today. I mean, looking back then, Mark and I were working crazy hours. We were working in the business, not on the business, not focused on growth. And now we're to a point where we can step back, we can look at things, we can put people in the right positions that are smarter than us. My job as a business owner is to hire people that are smarter than me and better than me in their particular field. So that way we grow, because I don't have to know everything. I don't have to be the best at everything. I just have to be able to put the vision forward, impart that to my team, and put the pieces together so that they are able to be successful in their own way. And so many times as business owners, as lawyers, we don't realize that or think that that's an option.
Was that something that you learned going through this journey, that you don't need to be the best at everything, or did you realize that already?
No. I thought for so long, even probably the first year or so of our coaching, I thought that, I have to understand everything and I need to be able to, do exactly what they're doing the same or better so that, they know that they can come to me with issues. I can't know everything. It's not possible. No one's going to be the best at everything. And when you let go, then you can let other people do what they do and what they want to do and what they're good at. If somebody's good, really, really good at, PPC or, whatever marketing avenue you're talking about, let them be good at that. Don't also put them in a sales role if they're not good at sales. Don't put them in, the production of drafting pleadings if they're not good at that. You don't have to be a one size fit all. You can just be good at what you're good at, and we can build a system around you.
Sure, that's kind of like, I guess, for lack of a better word, accepting reality. I think hiring a business coach is accepting reality. What were the circumstances that led to your decision to do that?
It was a product of there had to be a better way. When I look back at, September of 2018, I mean, working 80 hours a week, that's normal in the legal field. Like working 60, 70, 80 hours, that's commonplace. So a lot of times we're desensitized to that. A lot of the marketing that we see as well, there's so many of my peers that are out there, posting Instagram stories and TikTok videos of, oh, hey, it's, 3 a.m. in the morning and I'm working on this, motion for my client and like, go me. And I'm sitting there the next day and like, no, that's awful. That's just showing the world that you're a bad manager of your time. And it's not a level of success to be working 80 hours a week. It's not a sign of success to be working on a client's case at 4 a.m. It's a sign of success to say, I've built a team and a process that gets things done during business hours and delivers a high level of results so that my team can go home and they can be refreshed for the next day, as opposed to just being in this constant state of stress, which I feel like so many in the legal profession are.
So when you hear somebody say like, I don't have, that's just another expense and I'm too busy to have to spend the time meeting with some business coach, you would say what?
No. I'm talking to myself several years ago with all of these responses because I thought the same thing, whether it was a business coach, whether it was a new hire of well, I don't have the money. You don't have to look at it in annual perspective, which so many of us think of. Let's talk about just an employee. Let's say you're hiring an employee, not a business coach, and it's $100,000 salary. Well, so many of us are like, I don't have $100,000 in the bank account. I can't hire this person because I don't have this money right here. But when you step back, are you going to pay that person $100,000 tomorrow? No, like they're going to be with you for a year. Now, if you're hiring somebody at $100,000 position, they better be able to be productive very quickly. So give them 2 or 3 weeks of onboarding, but by week 4, they're producing attorney or whatever the position is. And the way a business has to be successful is they have to be able to produce their salary, cover their overhead, and then produce a profit for the business. So as long as you put the training regimen in place so that they can be onboarded and then they can be up and running in 3 or 4 weeks, they're paying for themselves and then some. And the same thing goes with a business coach. Yeah, there's some onboarding, there's some understanding, there's some learning, but if I want to make a deal with you where I give you $1,000 and you give me $100,000, let's do that deal over and over and over again.
Hey, is there a challenge maybe that you have had to overcome either personally or professionally to get to where you are?
Oh yeah, lots. And it's all right here. Like this guy, me. I am the biggest hurdle because so much of becoming an entrepreneur, it's all mindset. It's all personal development. We don't like to think in those terms, but you have to learn how to think like a business owner. You have to learn how to think like an entrepreneur. You have to learn how to think like Jeff Bezos, because the way he runs Amazon is the exact way you can run every single law firm that is out there. Everything can be systematized. Everything can be run in such a place that it works and it functions without you. You have to do a lot of mental gymnastics and a lot of learning and a lot of education to realize and get to that point. But so many decisions and the way we view things have to be objective. If you don't have a business plan, for instance, if you don't have a business plan that you update quarterly, you are running your law firm or your business on a whim, on gut, on feel, on intuition. That junk is wrong all the time. Whereas if you say, Q2, I'm supposed to have, $1.8 million in income and the profit is supposed to be X and we're supposed to have this many cases. Great. That's an objective metric. I can then measure and say, have I achieved that? Are we on track? Are we over? Are we under? Do we need to adjust? Do we need to increase our goals? What do we need to do? But if you're tracking with objective metrics, then you can succeed, as opposed to, well, I think this case is going to come through and do really well for us. Never put your hopes and your goals and your staff, never put them in a position where they're relying on hopes and dreams and wishes.
As you look back on your time so far with Georgia trial attorneys, is there a moment that you are kind of especially proud of, like a big success or a proudest moment?
Probably all of it. I mean, there's no one defining moment where it's like, yeah, we just did everything right. I think, when you look back in history, like the history of the law firm, yes, there have been successes. There have been, $1 million settlements. There have been verdicts at trial that we were very happy about. But I have trouble trying to just say, well, this was just one defining moment, because I don't think that there's such thing as one defining moment. I think there are a bunch of little small decisions that led to a defining moment. Whereas if you took away one of those small decisions, the big result never happens. So it's more of making sure that you're down in the weeds, so to speak, on the little things. If you get the little things right, the big things will come. And I think we've been able to do a lot of that with our processes, with our systemization, with our automation, with our training, and with our retraining to build a business that works for us and gives us feedback, as opposed to the other way around.
I just have a couple more questions for you. Hey, what are some daily rituals that you find most important? Like, what's a typical day for you? I see, you don't have your typical office background there in the video.
So yeah, this right here, physical health is so important. And when we built our gym here in our basement, I was like, you know what? I mean, there's no reason why I can't have my gym and my office be one and the same. I mean, we're almost an entirely virtual law firm. Even though we have more than 20 people in our office across the US and other countries, no one actually goes into the office full time. No one is in the office every single day. So we were able to build it in such a way where, I can work from home. And I was like, I have to work out. Number one, I enjoy it. I am competing in my first amateur strongman competition on Saturday.
Wow,
and that
nice.
was a goal that I set out last year. So as long as you build in, goals and objectives too, just like with business for your physical health, I think that really helps a lot. So, working out however many days you set, you need to make sure it happens. And then waking up early. Waking up early is something that so many people fight. But if you get up at 5 o'clock, you can do so much for yourself, which you can't do otherwise. I mean, I've got a wife and 2 kids. Things start getting crazy at 6:30. So if I get up early, if I get up at 5, if I have some time to myself without my cell phone, no cell phone time, no cell phone time before like 6:30 or 7, because if the first thing you do is pick up your phone and look at an email, you're going to get frustrated, or you're going to get upset, or you're going to get in the news, or you're going to do things that aren't productive. It already happened. It's not going to change until 6 or 7 till you get started with your day. So get up early, exercise, and just spend some time with yourself without the cell phone. And that really helps center your entire day. That's just an easy recommendation I can give to everybody, that anybody can do it.
What kind of events are in this strongman competition? Are you going to be hauling logs or something?
So this one's it starts off with they call it a press medley. So picking up objects and, pressing them over your head. So there's, 120-pound dumbbell, 180-pound sandbag, 150-pound brake drum, and then one other, I can't remember off the top of my head. And then there's a deadlift event where we're deadlifting a car. We're doing a truck pull. So there's a UPS truck and we're pulling it with a rope, and a 250-pound concrete stone, Atlas stone, that we pick up and put over a bar for reps. And then there's one other event that I totally can't remember. So yeah.
All right. Well, hey, good luck. It sounds like it's going to be intense and fun. Well, fun for you, hopefully. Sounds great. Hey, one more question for you, but first, before I ask you that, tell me how people can find out more about Georgia Trial Attorneys.
So the best way to get a hold of us is just go to our website. It's our phone number, so it's a good way to remember everything. So, if you're in a car accident, just call 833-4-THE-WIN, and that's our URL as well. 833-4-THE-WIN. So just plug that into your phone, 833-4THEWIN.com. You'll get me, and we'll get you started.
Okay, great. Hey, last question for you. Who is a mentor of yours, and what is that person's best piece of advice for you, at the risk of putting you on the spot?
No, I mean, I think everyone needs a mentor, and you don't just have to have one mentor. You can have a different mentor for different things, because again, no one is good at everything. So finding good mentors for different things. But I'm thinking of one mentor in particular when it comes to networking. This man is the world's greatest networker. And I think everyone needs to find somebody that's good at networking so they can learn from them of how to be a better networker. Whether it's business or personal, you generally do business and interact with people that you know, like, and trust. And the only way that you can truly build that is through relationships. So being able to network with other people, go into a room where you don't know anybody, stick out your hand, shake a hand, introduce to somebody new, and start working a room. That is a huge skill that I think everyone needs. And finding a mentor that's good at that will just help you in so many levels.
Hey, James, it's been great to talk to you today. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time and your insights, and best wishes on your strongman competition.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really pumped. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Thank you. So long, everybody. Thanks for listening to 15 Minutes. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.